Working, but then he sent me that's the AP stuff.
Are we ready? Good morning and welcome to the Berks County Board of Elections meeting. Today is April the 2nd. It is 12 after 11 and we will call the meeting to order. I do want to apologize for the delay of the start of today's meeting. We did have our board meeting, commissioners board meeting that started at 10. It went a little bit longer than normal. That is why we are starting the elections board meeting 12 minutes late. So again, want to apologize for that. We'll get started with the public comment notice, and I'm going to ask Stephanie to please read that.
Public comment will be accepted in person and through the Q&A function. Please include your first name, last name, and municipality for all comments. Any comments without name and municipality will not be considered. Each citizen can submit one comment. Comment length is dictated by limitations of the platform being used, Teams Q&A. In-person comments will be accepted first, followed by comments submitted virtually. The meeting comment period is limited to a total of 30 minutes, including both in-person and virtual comments. This time period may be extended at the county's discretion. Please be concise. Comments that are germane to county business will be read during the meeting and should not be considered to be interactive dialogue. The county shall be the final arbiter of whether a comment is germane and should be read. Any response to public comment will be done at the county's discretion.
Okay, thank you, Stephanie. We'll now move to public comment on agenda items, and we do not have anything in person or online either. So we'll move to the approval of the minutes from the March 19 election board meeting. Are there any corrections or additions to the agenda? If none, the agenda stands approved as presented. We have 4 agenda items today. We're going to start with the first one, which is a polling place change for the 2026 general primary. And we will review and approve the permanent polling place change, which will be effective for the upcoming 2026 general primary, and is for Spring Township Precinct 13. And it is to move it from the Spring Ridge Elementary School to GT Church. And this was, we were asked by the school district if we could move it from the school just because it had security issues as the kids are in class there. So they'd rather if we could hold it elsewhere. And GT Church welcomed us there to have it held there. And there has been no objections to the change. So what is the will of the board?
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Wasn't the church a place a voting place in the past?
It is. So we're going to have 2 there.
Oh,
It's
they're
large
gonna be-
enough. Yeah, we
Oh,
went and
good
looked
for you.
at it.
Places.
Plenty of room.
Okay.
Yeah, but you're right.
Thank you.
Okay. No further discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. None opposed. The motion carries. Second item, poll worker training and poll worker pay. We're going to approve poll worker training schedules and compensation rates for the May 19 general primary election. And there are no changes, but I will let Ann.
Yeah, I'll
Review.
quickly review. Right. Good morning. So poll worker training is remaining similar to how we've done it in the past. We offer classes at 600 Penn Street, the Ag Center, South Campus, here at the Services Center, and virtual. And again, the training schedule will not be much different than we've offered in the past. As far as poll worker pay, we're also going to keep that as it's been in the past. So basically anyone that's working on election day, so that's poll workers, constables, rovers, and any county workers will receive $200 for working that day. Judge of election training and interpreter training will remain at $55 for attendees. All other poll workers will receive $30 for training, or $35. Rover training is remaining the same at $75, and the judges that pick up supplies and return supplies will receive $20 for each of those functions.
I will make a motion to approve the poll worker training and poll worker pay.
I'll second it.
You have a motion and a second. Do you have any discussion? None. All those in favor signify by saying aye. None opposed. The motion carries. Item number 3 is discussion regarding the Systematic Alien Verification for Entitlements Program, also known as the SAVE program. So I'm going to ask our solicitor, Cody, to speak on this program.
Thank you, Commissioner, and good morning, Election Board. So we, over the past years and months, have got some inquiries about utilizing the SAVE system with our voter rolls. I've had some individual discussions with the board regarding this, but thought it was probably best at this point to address it in a public forum. The SAVE system, as most know, it's a system through USCIS, which is the United States Citizenship and Immigration Services. And what it is, it's an online service for registered entities, federal, state, local, to verify immigration status and U.S. citizenship of applicants seeking benefits or licenses from the respective government entity. As I said, we've had requests to potentially check our voter registration or run our voter registration information through the SAVE system to identify potential non-citizens. We had general dialogue with USCIS just generally about the SAVE system to get some additional background. USCIS indicated that generally the states will be the ones that register for the SAVE system, and then access would be delegated through down to the counties. That's generally how they've seen it being done on their end. It doesn't foreclose counties doing it, but generally that's what SAVE has been seeing, or USCIS has been seeing on their end. Overall, from the legal end, I would have some reservations about doing this, and I can provide an overview to the board about what those are. There's no specific legal requirement or legal authority that really would grant counties the right to do this. I would say at best it's a gray area in the law about whether or not we could do this. The commissioners, as the voter registration commission for the county, do have the ability to investigate irregularities in voter registration. I think, though, it may be a little bit of a stretch to use that power to apply it to utilizing the SAVE system. SAVE generally requires a first name, a last name, date of birth, and either an immigration identifier or a social security number. We don't have immigration identifiers for our voters. We do for, say, probably the majority of our voters have the last 4 of the social security number. As I understand.
But not all.
Correct. Yeah, that's an important point. We don't have the full socials for our voters, again, or immigration identifiers. The SAVE system does allow us, or does allow, I think it does have the ability to use the last 4 of a social. But if that's not sufficient, then you do have to provide a full social for an individual. But Commissioner Leinbach, as you said, we don't have the last 4 of a social for all of our voters, because you can register to vote. Among other things, you need a driver's license number or the last 4 of your social. You don't need both. So some we have both, some we have either or. So if we did this, we would only be able to do it, assuming that we could use just the last 4 of the social for just a subset of our voters, not our entire voter roll, which would raise disparate treatment concerns on my end. In addition, I think there's an overall component of, data security here. Obviously, voter registration information is sensitive information. It's confidential information. And the law dictates when and how and to whom such information can be disclosed. And I think another component is some voter registrations are confidential for whatever reason it may be, potential crime victims, law enforcement, whatever it may be. So I think when you start disclosing this type of information, absent clear legal authority to do so, I think that could be problematic as well. So for those reasons, from the legal end, I'd be hesitant to, and I've expressed this before, to use the SAVE system in this way, the way the law is currently written. I do know that there's one county out there who is looking at using, and I believe registering for the SAVE system. And I would be interested in kind of looking at and getting feedback from them and seeing their experience in terms of, how it worked, and also any pushback they may get before, having further discussion. So.
Yeah. And that county is York County. I was the one that heard from one of the senators in York County and talked to Commissioner Julie Wheeler. And I believe you reached out. They've not actually done it yet, right?
Correct. They're still in the application process.
Right. So that's something worth watching to see what transpires with their efforts.
Okay, any further questions for Cody or Ann in reference to this? Nope. Okay. Item number 4, discussion and decision regarding the potential filing of a voter registration challenge affidavit pursuant to 25 PA CSA 1329.
Thank you. We were recently made aware by the Department of State of a potential instance of double voting in the 2024 general election. It wasn't 2 instances in Berks County. It was one in Berks County, one in a neighboring county. And I'm not going to go into specific detail about that because it is an active criminal referral to the U.S. Attorney's Office and the Attorney General's Office from the Department of State. But what I will say is we did, when this was brought to our attention, we reviewed it on our end. And it does appear that this individual voted in both Berks County and Montgomery County in the same election on multiple occasions, which obviously is concerning.
Say that again. They voted in the same election.
Same election, 2 counties.
2 counties,
Yes.
but not multiple times in each county.
Not multiple times.
They voted
once here, once in Montgomery.
But they did this over more than 2024, didn't they?
Correct. Yeah.
So it's like 3 or 4 years.
There's 8 documented instances on our end. I believe the first instance goes back to 2012, but then the majority of them are more recent in the 2020,
Right.
2021. There may be one in 23, 24, the 24 general, which is what DOS made us aware of. And it also looks like 2025 as well. So we've been working with DOS on the criminal referral aspect of this matter, which again is being investigated by the U.S. Attorney's Office and the Attorney General's Office. But the reason that this agenda item specifically is before the board today is it also raises the question on our end as to what do we do with this voter registration in Berks County. This does appear to be an instance that this individual is registered in 2 counties. And I believe it's important that we obviously address it. So statutorily, you can only remove voters from the voter rolls in limited circumstances. You can't just remove them. However, 25 PA CSA 1329 does set forth a challenge procedure in the law where you can challenge individuals who you have a good faith basis to believe may be improperly registered. And in short, what 1329 allows, it allows a commissioner, a registrar, or a clerk, or a qualified elector of the municipality to file a challenge affidavit to the voter's registration. And the affidavit has to include certain information. It's information about the challenge voter and then the basis for the challenge. The challenge affidavit then gives the challenge elector the opportunity to respond via notarized response. If that response does not establish a sufficient basis to the commission's satisfaction that they're entitled to be registered, then the registration can be canceled. Conversely, if they do, then the registration stands. Under this circumstance, I believe this would be the appropriate avenue to pursue here. Obviously, it's a concerning situation, to say the least. And I think pursuing the challenge affidavit is the appropriate way to go. It will give the elector the opportunity to respond. And then if they don't do so sufficiently, we're able to cancel the registration. So specifically what I'm looking for is, I guess, the board's thoughts and approval to submit a challenge affidavit in this instance and pursue the statutory process and remedies set forth in section 1329.
I'll make a motion that we submit an affidavit challenging this particular voter's registration in accordance with the law.
I'll second it.
Have a motion and a second. Do we have any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. None opposed. Motion carries. I think I had some discussion with Cody and with Ann about this, and the shore system really isn't set up so that we can say, okay, we can see if there's something within Berks County, if someone has voted or tried to vote or register more than once, but not throughout the state. So I have asked Cody to look into preparing a letter directed to the Department of State and to the Secretary, asking them that as they are revising and looking at the new shore system, that they have something in place where we're able, or at least they are able, to have a system where if it shows up, last social, or driver's license, or somehow that it will show if people are registered in more than one county. I think with today's technology, that shouldn't be something that should be too hard to do, because that's really the only safeguard to avoid this in the future. So Cody will be reaching out to my fellow board members to discuss that letter further.
Well, I support it. Shore system has been a problem since I took office. There have been multiple efforts to replace it. I think we're under, I don't know if it's the third effort or the fourth effort to do that, but it is not a reliable, and here's, let me be careful what I say here. There's no evidence that it doesn't track voter information correctly. There is clear issues with the system going down and not being able to rely on it at times, often when county boards of elections, not us, your staff, need to access it for voter registration information. And that's been an ongoing issue for a long time. So I think we need to note that in the letter, that this isn't, issues around shore have not been a new issue. They've been ongoing. It's been something that the Commonwealth, under multiple administrations, has promised to address, but so far has failed to. If my colleagues are okay with that.
Absolutely. Okay, we'll now move to the election director's report.
So in addition to preparing, or as we prepare for the primary, I can let you know that we are caught up on our ballot applications. We got through our backlog and we have about 17,150 applications approved for ballots. So that's good news. We are working to finalize the ballot. We should be there shortly. And we are hoping to mail out, we go through our testing process once the ballot's approved or finalized. We do our tests. We are hoping to mail out ballots, approximately a month ahead of the primary. So that would be, in April 20th, around that date. That's all I have.
Okay. Any questions for Ann? All right, we'll move on to general comments from the board regarding current election-related issues. Any comments from the board?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have to say a couple things here. Bear with me. I know that we talked a little bit about the SAVE program, and I just generally want to talk about some of the things that we hear out and about, the narrative that that there are non-citizens voting. The President just signed an executive order dealing with mail-in balloting. And I think the insinuation, not even insinuation, he came out blatantly and said that he thinks the system is rigged. The mail-in system is rigged. Of course, he just voted it in a special election by mail-in. So I think that's hypocrisy at the nth degree. I just want to give some facts. I know facts sometimes get in the way, but here's some facts from the Heritage Foundation, a very conservative organization dealing with voter fraud. The facts. From 1999 to 2023, there's been more than 1 billion ballots cast. 1 billion with a B. 77 cases of non-citizens who successfully cast a ballot. 10 cases of undocumented immigrants who voted. Now, you're never going to get to zero. You're never going to get to 100%. We all know that. That is 0.0000764 of all votes. That's 5 zeros. 764. Statistically, if you're a statistician, that's zero. It doesn't exist. So let's move on. I've been around this voter issue for many, many years. It always was, the elections occur, the winner is determined, the loser accepts it, and you move on. I'm not saying we don't keep an eye on voter fraud. We just saw one, and the person got caught voting twice when she wasn't supposed to. We're wasting our time, we're wasting our money, we're wasting our resources, and it's tearing us apart. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. That's all I have.
Thank you, Commissioner Santoni. Any other comments from the board? If not, we will move to public comment. We have one in person and
Nothing online.
nothing online. So Jeff, you know the routine here.
Good morning. My name is Jeff Wolf from Brecknock Township. From her X account, U.S. Assistant Attorney General Hermit Dillon posted a brief video clip interview of her. In that interview, Dillon stated that 50 to 60 million voting records analyzed by the DOJ. The DOJ found hundreds of thousands of voters who shouldn't be on the voter rolls, and she references people who are dead, people who moved, duplicate registrations, and so forth. She adds that, quote, "We have found separately non-citizens on the voter rolls, and so now we are doing our due diligence to identify the extent to which they may or may not have voted." As of September 2025, Pennsylvania is one of the 29 states that the DOJ sued for voter registration records to assess each state's compliance with voter roll maintenance requirements. With the Senate version of the SAVE Act, Save America Act in limbo as of March, President Trump issued an executive order entitled Ensuring Citizenship Verification and Integrity of Federal Elections. This workaround is intended to thwart the non-identity of all U.S. natural-born and naturalized U.S. citizens who are eligible to vote, and provide the state citizenship list to each state prior to any federal election. There's time here. The federal government is to inform the chief election officer of each state who the eligible U.S. citizens living in the state are. It would then be the responsibility of each state, the chief election officer, that they should not be, that individuals that should not be on the voter rolls because they are not citizens or for other non-eligibility reasons. Evidence of violations of existing federal laws by state or local election officials, states or localities, individuals involved in administration of federal elections, and so forth, may be referred to the DOJ for consideration of investigation on charges under various Title 18 codes. The Trump EO would put the Secretary of State, Al Schmidt, in a position where he would be compelled to direct the county election boards to aggressively determine individuals on the rolls who are not on the state citizenship list, that is, they are not U.S. citizens, and notify them for removal or for the need to correct their determined status. And I would appreciate the board's opinion on this EO, not today necessarily, but perhaps in the next meeting. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Jeff. And we still do not have anything online, so that concludes our public comment period.
Make a motion, we adjourn?
Second.
The meeting is adjourned.